Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, my name is Zika Nurina Hikmayanti. I'm from class 1 Islamic Religious Education A. I will presentation a material about Islamic moderation education. Okay, on to the first topic. This is a radicalism. Understanding radicalism. In language, radicalism comes from the word radix, which means root. So radicalism can be understood as an attitude of someone who wants to change something by destroying what is already there or replacing it with something new, which is very different from before. Usually, the method used is to resolve existing values quickly with violence and extreme or very destructive action. Radicalism, according to language, means understanding or flow that one social and political change or renewal by violence or drastic means. However, in another sense, the essence of radicalism is the concept of the attitude of the soul in carrying out change. Meanwhile, according to another understanding, radicalism is the core of change that tend to use violence. What is meant by radicalism is a movement that has old-fashioned views and often use violence in teaching their beliefs. Meanwhile, Islam is a religion of peace that teaches peace and seeks peace. Islam has never justified the practice of using violence in spreading religion, religious understanding, and political understanding. Radicalism is considered to be an act that seriously endangers the integrity of the unitary state of the Republic of Indonesia because it does not only threaten from the outside but infiltrates within through brainwashing carried out by several intolerant groups or those with radical views. Next material is indicators or sign of exposure to radicalism. Pancasila. Don't want to read or follow the reading of the Pancasila text. 2. Don't want to sing the Garuda Pancasila song. 3. Using another ideology. Undang-Undang Dasar. Don't want to read or follow the text of the preamble. 2. Want to replace the text of the preamble. And do not want a nation state. 2. Do not want to follow the flag ceremony. 3. Don't want to salute the flag. 4. Do not want to sing the national anthem. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Intolerant against Sara. Diversity. 3. Against the unity of Indonesia. Qadid is of the opinion that radicals think that the plans used are the most ideal plans. In relation to these radicals, they are often based on a narrow understanding of religion which end in acts of terror bombing that grow with the system. Then the next item, radical implication for religious and national life. The main cause of religious radicalism, especially in Islam, are the relative deprivation factor and the distortion of values caused by modernization. Islamic radicalism occurs due to unjustice factor, but procedural, distributive, and interactional injustice. The exercise of religious radicalism and acts of violence triggered by feelings of the despair and frustration. Society becomes a hard individuals due to political repression and appropriation of socioeconomic problems. Social becomes radical if the government takes repressive steps and against people's protests and aspiration when the government fails to provide affordable economic growth, employment, and education. The cause of radicalism is global influence as a result of the rise of the world's Muslims, which creates anti-American hatred because Muslims feel oppressed due to U.S. foreign policy effort that can be made by the police to prevent the development of radicalism. The police need to prioritize character building and must take an active role in instilling Pancasila values in accordance with the President's mandate. The police can work with religious leaders to enlighten their men or change their religious mindset regarding radical views. The police can try to have direct dialogue with the public through counseling, seminars, and advertisement. Prevention can be done through control in the community. Okay, next the material, the concept of a repressive approach in removing a wave of radicalism. Effort to deal with crime are essentially an effort to safeguard society or social defense so that people can avoid crime. One of the countermeasures can be carried out through repressive effort, for example by taking action against radical groups that have used unlawful methods such as violence to carry out attacks on radical groups that are carrying out their action. Modern genealogy of Islam. In the history of religion Islam in Indonesia, genealogically moderate Islam is true has been practically introduced, especially throughout the values of Islamic teaching brought by Wali Songo. Based on Mas'ud series, Wali Songo is the figure of the preacher of the centuries who is known to have success in integrating religious aspect with cultural product or traditions outside it, integrating social habits that are transcendent with something profound. Throughout their dakwah model that carries cultural principles, Wali Songo managed to introduce the face of Islamic mercy in an elegant way. They were significantly success in influencing many people based on historical facts that in a way tolerating local tradition and modifying them into Islamic teachings and still relying on the Islamic principles. In reality, this new religion was embraced by aristocrats as well the majority of Javanese people on the North Coast. The presence of the face of Indonesian Islam, which carries the spirit of local wisdom. Borrowing Azumardi Azhar's language is a character regional from the moderate form of Nusantara or Indonesia wisdom that Islam and democracy cannot be side by side. Democracy is a system of governance that was born from womb of Western culture. On the other hand, Islam has its own point of view regarding how manage and form a system of government. Regulation relates to religious or Islam moderation in Indonesia. Religious moderation in Indonesia has been built in this way form has become social capital in national development and has stipulated in presidential regulation concerning plans national medium-term development. Thus, religious moderation becomes a necessity, must be implemented by all ministries or agencies. In fact, Ministry of Religion as the leading sector. So, it takes effort to maintain this practice of religious moderation in order to remain become a distinctive character of religion in Indonesia. Perceived urgency of the courts. Islamic moderation education is seen as important because it is one of the education that is expected to be able to shape the behavior and attitudes of students in Indonesia who are multicultural and multi-religious. Religious education that is appreciative of religious difference and cultural difference will have an impact on students becoming human beings who are willing to respect difference and make difference a part of the rule of moderate Islam for tackling radicalism in the institution Indonesia education in a way the radicalization through religious education multicultural Islam. Education was questioned as the most powerful way to tackle radicalism in educational institutions starting from elementary school up to college. Participants equipped with Islamic religious education as efforts to foster study in order to understand the essence of religion thoroughly and finally able to shape behavior and attitude plural student and opens by applying moderate values not only through the isolations but culturally most embedded in all aspects in an educational environment. That's all I can say, more or less. I'm sorry. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.